T-shirt ni kalau kita ikutkan sejarah T-shirt ni sejak Perang Dunia Kedua lagi, bila T-shirt ni digunakan oleh tentera Amerika sebenarnya sebagai baju dalam kalau kita ikut sejarah T-shirt. Dan perkembangan itu sampai sekarang ni dia bukannya ikut musim, dia akan continuously digunakan sebagai pakaian asas.
When we started to do T-shirts, that's when it took off because first of all, T-shirts are more universal. People who don't wear caps, they wear T-shirts at least.
Arus pemodenan mempengaruhi cara pemakaian. Sifat fashion itu sendiri sentiasa berubah-ubah mengikut peredaran zaman. Malaysia juga tidak terlepas daripada dibanjiri dengan pelbagai jenama terkemuka dunia. Fenomena ini lebih dikenali sebagai indie clothing.
Idea macam mana kita menggunakan jenama Cap Ayam untuk mengeluarkan produk ni sebenarnya daripada pengalaman kita jual produk-produk Thailand dan jenama imitation di Thailand. Jadi dia berfikirkan satu hari mungkin banyak persaingan dari pihak lain, so kita terfikir macam nak keluarkan produk sendiri to be different from others lah. So, sebenarnya Cap Ayam ni kita bermula melalui manipulate design orang. Melalui kita dapatkan daripada internet. Selepas tu barulah kita keluarkan design sendiri lah. So design pertama kita kalau tak silap saya adalah Cap Ayam. Cap Ayam dan design kita punya pada peringkat awal tu memang susah nak penetrate pelanggan ni pasal pandangan pelanggan ni atas jenama. Pasal jenama Cap Ayam tu benda sesuatu yang very low perception pada orang menerima kan. Tapi alhamdulillah pasal kita dah bermula daripada 2003, penjenamaan Cap Ayam tu bermula sampai dalam 2006 dan 2007. Dari segi volume yang produk kita keluar tu, mana sambutan tu alhamdulillah. Kita bermula daripada berniaga kecil-kecilan di uptown, pasar malam, dan juga kita pergi bergerak sertai banyak expo seluruh Malaysia. Kita memang letak harapan yang tinggi untuk membawa jenama ni setara dengan jenama lain yang ada dalam pasaran. Dan kita ada keyakinan produk ni akan pergi lebih jauh dan kita berusaha ke arah tu lah. Sekarang ni media yang paling bagus sekali untuk promosi melalui Facebook. So, kita banyak gunakan Facebook untuk masyarakat. Dan selain itu daripada jualan mesti banyak expo ni. Kita tak ada buat elan secara khusus di majalah atau surat khabar. Sebenarnya Jalil Hamid ni dia adalah pengguna t-shirt Cap Ayam ni. Dia bukan kita sponsor daripada awal. Tapi bila saya dengar dia menggunakan t-shirt kami undilah Cap Ayam dalam persembahan dia tu, jadi malam sebelum dua final ni saya telefon dia. Kebetulan saya dapat kontak dengan dia sendiri dan saya bagi sponsor t-shirt tu. Saingan tu memang sekarang sengit lah. Pasal banyak budak muda yang mengeluarkan brand lokal ni. Dan sekarang kita pun banyak terima produk ciplak Cap Ayam. Mana dia orang banyak ciplak dalam nama kita lah. Sebagainya ada design ciplak tu, design Cap Ayam 3 suku tu. Kita pandang secara positif lah bila orang ciplak produk kita tu, mana kita orang appreciate ataupun orang appreciate produk kita lah. Dari segi harga kita, pasal kita punya konsep kita ni jual barang Cap Ayam ni, kita target pada orang ramai, daripada peringkat budak hingga peringkat dewasa, orang tua. Jadi harga kita ni harga yang mampu dimiliki lah untuk sesiapa. Feedback yang kami terima daripada pelanggan sebenarnya bukan pasal jenama Shah Ayam tu, tapi pasal kualiti kain. Customer lebih suka dengan kualiti kain kita lah. Siapa yang pernah beli tu, yang pernah beli barang kita, kebanyakan bila balik kita bagi tahu kenapa dia beli Shah Ayam, because kualiti kain. Produk kita yang paling top sebenarnya yang kita keluarkan bila tiba bulan Ramadan, kita keluarkan baju Melayu. Baju Melayu kita dibuat daripada kain t-shirt, so something yang unik, tak ada pada orang lain. Okay. Jadi memang setiap tahun kebanyakan kita dah keluarkan lebih daripada 3 tahun. Jadi bila tiba je bulan puasa ni, kebanyakan datang cari produk. Kita punya kelebihan kita ada saiz sampai 6XL. Sebab kita punya konsep kita tu untuk biar for everybody, maksudnya untuk semua orang lah. Kalau kita tengok brand-brand t-shirt yang lain, mungkin dia target pada orang yang saiz S atau M. Jadi kami punya produk ni untuk sampai big XL dan 6XL. Kita sebenarnya nak keluar daripada border sepadan Malaysia lah. Tapi so far lah, ada 1-2 pelanggan yang dah bawa produk kita ke luar Arab Saudi, dan sekarang ada perbincangan untuk bawa benda ni ke Dubai. T-shirt ni bila saya keluarkan ni, saya ni orang yang tak ada hobi. Okay? Saya tak tahu muzik, saya tak ada fishing, tak minat kereta, tak minat motor. So produk yang kita keluar ni betul-betul untuk orang ramai, untuk minat dia orang, bukan minat saya. Itu dia punya poin yang paling penting. Itu Shah Ayam punya follower lah. Dia memang pakai Shah Ayam yang mungkin dah 4 ini. Keep continue pakai kita punya produk. Biasa keluarkan produk baru setiap bulan dalam 4 atau 5 design. Okay? Dan setiap pembelian barang kita selalu kita akan bagi gift. Setiap t-shirt kita akan bagi setiap. Jadi kita keluarkan stiker. Kita keluarkan stiker, kita bagi free stiker, dan kadang-kadang kita bagi cuma bag tu. Kita spend mesin stiker je buat dalam RM70,000 beli mesin tu, khusus untuk keluarkan stiker untuk dibagi pada pelanggan. Saya nampak banyak kan budak-budak muda sekarang yang lebih kreatif, yang punya teknologi daripada dia orang, kan? Dan dia orang lebih cerah lagi masa depan dia orang kalau dia orang berani lah. Dalam perniagaan ni sebenarnya berani mengambil risiko tu yang paling penting. Sebab kebanyakan yang saya tengok budak-budak muda yang punya jenama sendiri sekarang, bila dia buat jualan, dia buat melalui tempahan. Bila cukup kuota tempahan baru dia keluarkan. Okay. Konsep kami berbeza. Kami keluarkan terus 4 atau 500 line untuk satu design, dan baru kita jual. Okay. Kita willing to take the risk lah. T-shirt ni kalau kita ikutkan sejarah t-shirt ni, sejak Perang Dunia Kedua lagi, bila t-shirt ni digunakan oleh tentera Amerika sebenarnya sebagai baju dalam. Kalau kita ikut sejarah t-shirt, dan perkembangan itu sampai sekarang ni, dia bukannya ikut musim, dia akan continuously digunakan sebagai kain asas. So, setiap hari orang perlukan t-shirt. Dua makcik tu kat rumah perkembangan saya pun boleh pakai t-shirt, dan dia akan terus pakai t-shirt. Harapan kita memang tinggi, because kita mungkin baru penetrate market mungkin dalam 10 hingga 15% je market. Walaupun kita punya produk sekarang hampir 900,000 line dalam masyarakat. Okay? Tapi kita masih belum dapat memuaskan hati semua pelanggan. Masih banyak orang kadang bila lalu depan kedai, bila tengok Shah Ayam ni dia gelak-gelak kan kita. Mana kita masih perlu berusaha lagi lah untuk menarik orang minat produk kita. Masalah yang sekarang ni adalah masalah pekerja lah. Untuk dapatkan designer ni ada sikit masalah. So sekarang saya sebenarnya designer bidang terjun. So saya sendiri yang berusaha untuk keluarkan banyakkan design. Shah Ayam ni sebenarnya satu benda yang selalu disebut-sebut oleh orang ramai. Kalau kita beli handphone Shah Ayam, kita beli t-shirt Shah Ayam. Tapi kalau kita makan Maggi, kita pergi kedai mamak kita suka Maggi, walaupun mamak bagi brand lain. Kalau you pakai obat gigi pun, you pakai brand Dali, you pakai Colgate. Okay? So benda tu dah jadi sinonim, benda something yang kita guna dengan benda yang orang dah guna, dan orang dah ingat dalam kepala, so senang dia nak memory.
The brand started as Lansi back in 2009. Okay, it was basically an idea from 2007. I had this blank cap, because last time in 2007 the craze was all about trucker caps and all that. So I had this blank cap, and then want to join in the whole do your own customization cap. So I wrote the word Lansi on a cap, and back then I was heavily involved in music. I was in the hip hop scene, so I wore the cap to a lot of shows and a lot of gigs. So a lot of people thought the cap was cool, like, hey, that's a Lansi cap, it's very nice. But it was just a blank cap with a marker scribbled word Lansi on it. Then it's like 2 years later, 2009, only I realized that it might be a good idea if I turn Lansi into a brand itself. So that's how Lansi came about. I started off with caps. So I made the first Lansi caps, which were fitted caps lah. Coming from, because back then it wasn't all about snapbacks, it was fitted caps, like New Era caps and all that. And New Era caps were either expensive here or they were fake. Okay, so that's how I decided to do fitted caps, and that's how the first Lansi cap came about. Then moving on, 1 year later in 2010, we started the Circus Salon, basically as an online store to sell our caps and other stuff. Because first of all, we didn't have money. Second of all, other local stores weren't so enthusiastic about carrying our caps and our brand. So we thought, okay, we'll just sell it ourselves. So that's how the Circus Salon came about. And later on, we started Taiko just to see, if another brand would work rather than Lansi. So that's how Taiko and Lansi came about as brands from the Circus Salon. So being an online store, we had no physical store presence, so we don't have random customers walking by and seeing our stuffs. So we had to really push it aggressively on Facebook, online. Actually, if you look at our designs, when we started off, there isn't much design to Lansi to begin with. It's basically we're selling the word Lansi because we're selling it as a brand lah, rather than as a t-shirt or a cap with a cool design. We're selling the brand Lansi because we want people to buy the brand Lansi because it's something that they can relate to lah. It's an attitude. We're selling it as an attitude brand, not a cool t-shirt design brand. My initial target audience for Lansi were the hip hop kids, because me coming from the hip hop background, I know that I would love to have a cap, because back then it was just like KL caps lah. They were the only caps that you can get. So I thought it'd be nice to have other fitted caps in the market, local brand. Then when we started to do t-shirts, that's when it took off, because first of all, t-shirts are more universal. People who don't wear caps, they wear t-shirts at least. And so more people could relate to the brand now because we have t-shirts, and it appealed to a wider audience. So that's when it went beyond the hip hop community. Then after that, it was another stroke of luck whereby we decided to try snapbacks, because the main reason that we did that was actually because fitted caps had sizes, and then sizing was a problem. One, because people can't get their right size, they don't know their size, and second thing for us, producing the caps was another problem because the factories won't want to do small amounts in just little sizes. So we just decided to go with snapback so that it's a universal size, everybody can wear. Up till today, I still feel that Lansi has a wider appeal to just the streetwear and the hip hop audience, because it's like I said, it's an attitude. It's something that if you're good at something, you generally have that confidence or that arrogance with you, whereby you're good at what you do, and a lot of people can relate to that. So we have moved into a lot of different markets, like the motor racing market, yo-yo market, a lot of skills-based markets where people can relate to what they do. That's where Lansi is, I would say, at its advantage. Local urban clothing scene is growing like crazy, I suppose. I think it's a very good thing, because when we started in 2009, that time, I think it was still a transition. That was the transitional period where the local people started emerging. So you have brands like Tarik and Lester and Mota and all that. That's around the time we all came up at the same time lah. Before that, the local urban people or the streetwear scene or the hip hop scene was still very much into the whole international streetwear hype. And back then, 2007, 2008, it was still very much driven by shoes. It was the streetwear. When you say streetwear, it was all sneakers, sneakerhead. Then I suppose there are some t-shirts, there are some caps here and there with people, but it was still driven by sneakers. Then I don't know, that transitional period between 2009 2008, that was when the shift happened, whereby people started noticing local brands, and from then on it just changed into t-shirts and caps. It became a whole t-shirt and cap game. It started out with a few close ones, because me coming from hip hop background, at least there's an easier connection to other hip hop heads like Jim Hackman and Tagmatic and all that. Those were the first few that actually rocked my caps when it just started. Then after that, the people like Nadira and all that, they were very supportive. They bought the caps, they wore it to their shows. Tagmatic wore it around the world to battle other rappers. And after that, we had people like Ultimate, we had people like No Hujan wearing our caps, wearing our t-shirts. Then we started then we started breaking into the more mainstream market. Not really mainstream, but rather into a bigger audience. We had people like LMF wearing our Bengal cap. We also have like people from Sabah, Sarawak rocking DRV, bought our notebooks. The rapper from Sabah, Renizam, is crazy supportive of our stuff. So yeah, it's a nice mixture of artists. Our core target audience would have been our college goers, you know, from the 18 to the 25-year-olds. That was the core target audience. Being an online store, you will have access to, you know, a lot of people, so that people from outside our target audience come, they stumble upon the brand, they like it, they buy the stuff. And those, we're talking about people like working in the working world, people working in banks like, you know, CIMB, more corporate people, they also buy our stuff. And the most surprising one was like at the previous bazaar, there was actually this auntie that came up and said that her 10-year-old son was looking for a Lansi t-shirt. They were like, wow, really? Okay, maybe there's more to it than we know about lah. So I suppose we can say it goes to a very large audience. One more thing, like those staying overseas, Lansi and Taiwan is a very local thing to them. So it's something that, you know, they can feel, you know, get them connected to Malaysia when they're in Australia, when they're in UK studying. You don't have to be hip hop or streetwear. You know, maybe just because you're studying in Australia, you just want to feel close to home. Then, you know, you get a cap or a shirt because no one else there wears it. I would say, vision-wise and future planning-wise, it's very much a Swagger Salon thing rather than a Lansi or Taipei thing. So, as a Swagger Salon thing, we are working on having newer brands under the Swagger Salon rather than just Lansi and Taipei. Something that we can cater to different people. With, you know, the growing popularity of the Swagger Salon, we can ride on that and hopefully come up with newer brands, some of which we're working on now, newer products. You know, it doesn't have to be just t-shirts or caps, and hopefully further down the road we'll have an outlet, maybe to have something we call like the Swagger Wagon, whereby it's a vehicle where we can go around to, let's say, bazaars or event. The people really underestimate the word brand a lot because they think brand is the name that they put on the shirt, which is not it. Whoever wants to come with a new brand has to keep in mind that the main word is brand. It's all about branding. So you need to have a concept behind the branding, something that people can relate to, something that people, you know, where you think, hey, that's something smart, something that they will buy. It's not just a word slapped on a t-shirt. So branding is very important.
Hot, innit? Yeah.
Mereka menanya dari mana ku datang. Dari langit tertinggi berangin layang-layang, seperti bayang-bayang caraku takkan ditiru. Suaraku akan dibiku ke hujung langit membiru. Ucapanku diminum, perkataan ditelankan. QB masih terhebat dari Indo ke Kelantan.